Hey, welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid, so roles could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates. Also know on this channel, I like to go deep within the reading, so I like to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, the see how they play out as karmic themes, along with everything else. So you need to keep that in mind when entering into winning a free reading with me, that if you win, that part of your reading is going to be a shadow reading. You also have to keep in mind that all readings that I do give away are done live. Now, if you do want to enter into winning a free reading with me, all you need to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the video in your comment bar. That is always on the first card that I pull out. And it is the underlining energy that tells me why everyone's doing what they're doing. Now, if you forget the word of the video, it will always be in the description box along with all other important information. If you are connected to any other zodiac, you can check out my All Zodiac Psychic Soul Healer page. And if you are connected to a Virgo, do check out my Virgo channel. All right, let's jump right on in and see what's going on. And we always look at the underlying energy because, as I said, it tells us why everyone's doing what they're doing. When dealing with people that wear masks, they're not coming from their true self. They want to create the illusion. And a lot of times we take what people do to us personally. So when you see why a person is acting the way that they act, a lot of times it makes it a lot easier for you to look at the entire situation like through not taking it personally. To be able to look at things through a spiritual perspective is to be able to look at them through the lens of unconditional love. And that is how we can surrender to like what has happened. A lot of times we go through experiences where we have a really hard time of letting go. And it's a lot of times because we've invested our time and energy into a person that we based them on their potential, not really who they are. So it's how much time you put into something. It's how much time, energy, focus, and money you put into, anything that's going to manifest. It's if you do it often, obviously, you'll manifest whatever it is that you're trying to manifest a lot quicker. Well, unfortunately, how much time, energy you put into a person, even if the person is not, now if the person's not going to give you anything, that's kind of the size of the wound that you feel like you have after like leaving a connection where you've given everything. And that again is what makes you feel as if you're inadequate, as if what did I do wrong? And we're still kind of waiting for this person to come back and apologize or to be different or to make sense of the situation. Shadow readings allow you to see your situation again from the highest perception, which is again through the filter of unconditional love to help you restore your energy so that you can evolve back to a place of unconditional love. All right, let's see what that underlining energy is. Okay, it is disassociated. It is disassociation. However, I feel like you're dealing with someone that's acting like they don't give a shit. I feel like they do care. I feel like they are just detached from themselves. Disassociation is when um when we are almost as if we're watching someone else go through the traumatic experience. Is detachment, and disassociation is when we don't feel anymore. Is that yes, we know again what is happening. It's almost as if we're watching it because there's no feeling anymore. So it's like I feel like this person is disassociated almost from just themselves in general. So if you're like, no, I don't feel my person at all, I feel like it's because they're in a place of survival. again, when we are in a place of fight, flight, or freeze, again, that we're in survival mode. And when you are in that mode for long periods of time, the body and the mind can, like, again, detach. We detach. Yes, we know what's going on, but it's almost like you're too exhausted to actually be able to process. So it's too much stimuli. So too much thinking, too much emotion creates overstimulation, which is what creates that fight, flight, or freeze, which doesn't make this person feel comfortable. It's why they detach from themselves, which is why you're like, I don't feel them. You're not going to, because they're not in their body. And so I feel like this person isn't doing, like, again, anything. Like they can't do anything. That's the energy. Again, disassociation from trauma. And understand, if we've gone through traumatic experiences where this is the way that we learned how to survive, understand that is the default mechanism on the way that this person survives. And this is the way that they can handle situations too, instead of, really being in their body and being in the moment and processing. And that happens when we've gone through a lot of trauma in our life, if we haven't learned how to heal ourselves. And healing is also reconditioning the nervous system through breath work, integrating body and mind back together. Real severe trauma creates this. And you might say, well, what does that look like? Because this person didn't look like they needed all that. Well, it would look like that this person acts from their reactions, that they get triggered a lot. And so you might not really know that they get triggered because they might not share a lot or not come back at you with a snappy remark. They'll just act different towards you because they were triggered. And I feel like this person is going through it right now, and they're in a place of, like, again, grief. And they are in separation from you because there was a part of this person that wanted you to perceive that they were perfect. I feel like they have severe shame. Again, people that have gone through severe trauma and sabotage themselves is really what brings on shame. So I feel like this person is, like, getting their karma. Like, it's almost like their old life is completely falling apart. They're in a place of a lot of anxiety and worry. And when it's associated with you, it's not that they don't have feelings for you, but they almost don't have feelings for anyone right now because they're in this place of survival and they don't trust anybody. And I feel like this person is surrounded by people that they can't trust. And if they're in a relationship or they were in a relationship that they thought was going to end amicably, it's like, it's not going to end amicably. I feel like this person has a lot of trust issues. And I feel like, again, like I said, this person, like, keeps reliving the same karmic cycles. And so that keep them in a place of the real root chakra imbalances. And root chakra imbalances are like problems with money, problems with relationships, problems with everything because of how they see themselves. And why do I say that again? Disassociation is the person's not connected to the physical body, the physical world, or physical elements of the physical world. And so, and that's, if we're coming from a place of our trauma, we're coming more from a place of our reactions. And we're also not really able to function if we have so much anxiety and we're worried. And I feel like when you met this person, they gave the facade that life was perfect, that they were perfect. So this person might own their own business. They might have a nice fancy car, live in a nice place, work around some of the best people. I don't know, there was something about this person that they were able to create the facade that life was grand. And I feel like it was grand because this person comes from a place of poverty. They come from a place of survival. People that have root chakra imbalances where they have shame in their childhood understand it's mainly because of the home that they're born into. It's that loving parents, supportive parents that are there create a strong foundation. And even if the child does something wrong, they're not shamed. Families that are very dysfunctional, that bring a lot of shame, attention, and that could be very imbalanced relationship, like codependent relationship, but not just codependent, but codependency on alcoholism and like alcohol and other things that draw negative attention is what creates shame, because the child has inherited that and as a family karma and their own karma from the environment that they grew up in. And children don't listen to parents. They watch what parents do and then they mirror their parents. They get their habits from their parents. And I feel like that's what happened with this person where they keep kind of reliving the same karmic patterns and that again that their parents had. So this person might have a lot of addiction. They have a lot of things when we don't feel good and we can't really connect and there is no passion or joy, we look for something to fulfill us outside because we need to have those good endorphins and that we get from relationships, that we get from other things than just buying or food. But like I said, I feel like this person has made themselves sick from food, has gotten themselves in debt from buying. Like it's the facade that they created is again falling apart because you can't maintain your happiness from like food. You're going to again create some diabetes, you're going to create heart problems, you're going to create like it's not made for that purpose. Yes, we're supposed to get enjoyment from food, but we're not supposed to become food. So I feel like this person has gained weight. Since you've talked to them, I also feel like they've drinking too much, so now they have certain health issues. And so again, the wear and tear of being able to compensate through not really being able to like from when you're not spiritually strong. And I feel like this person's not strong. There's a part of this person that, like, again, feels really unworthy. And I feel like they were just brought up in an environment that, like, beat them down. So when you ask, like, why aren't they doing anything? Believe it or not, they're like in a dark night of the soul. I feel like this person is like processing. I feel like even though they're away from you, things are happening. And really they have to clear the negative energy. There's negative energy from the way that they grew up. There just is, because they just kept creating the same undesirable life experiences. And then so like when they did deal with you, it was always seemed like they were looking for somebody else, that they were never satisfied. And then you would obviously confront this person and then they would have a problem with it. They would see you as if you were lashing out on them when you weren't really lashing out, but you would try to lay boundaries down. This person has a problem with boundaries. Again, where it triggers them, where they look at it as you're like lashing out at them, trying to control them, where it's like you're not present. And if a person's disassociated, they're not going to be present. And the reason why is because, again, they're detached. They're emotionally, they're not there. So again, when a person is again detached and disassociated, they have intimacy issues, but the real underlying wound is always going to be trust. It's that at a young age in their childhood, they were taught not to trust one of their parents. And that would be because, again, of addictions, codependency. It's and it would also mean that this person had to take on a role within the family in order to create balance, one that didn't allow them to create their own identity. So again, they'd be living more from their addictions and obviously being very defensive when you did confront them, right? So it's like made to feel as if you were doing something wrong. Where if the person has extreme fear, and it's like also like they have extreme fear, but then they also, because they never really got the love and the attention that they needed growing up, like one relationship never really satisfies this person. It's like one person is not going to be enough if you haven't created enough of your own identity. Like you have to have other passions and hobbies and interests, that'll help you connect to other people. You can't just have your relationship. And I feel like this person doesn't have other relationships, hobbies, and interests. So they always need attention, and they always need attention, whether it was from you, if you obviously were not there for this person in their like every beck and call. I feel like it would trigger them, like literally, like they would like reach out. At first, they weren't even consistent. And then when they would reach out and you would be out, they would like actually like be triggered by it and not talk to you for like a few days, a few weeks, and then they would come back where, and then talk to other people because then they needed the constant attention because it's like you having a life triggers them. When they don't really have a life, they again create the illusion that they do, but meanwhile they're just talking to people on Instagram that they don't know, or people on, they're through their social media, people that are never going to meet them, that they're never going to meet. It keeps this person in a place of, not really knowing who they are, like it can, and you have to like feed yourself. This person, I don't feel like is in a good place. I feel like for whatever reason they've in started another negative karmic cycle, which is why they are disassociated. They're in a place of survival right now. And so how they are with you, I feel like you don't really feel them, obviously, and that they're not doing anything. And partially because I feel like you walked away from this person, or this person walked away from you because you were like, again, they saw you as being like too confrontational, when really they're the ones that have the problem. Again, making you feel forgotten about. Again, they may giving other people attention while meanwhile they're not giving you attention, but the people that they're giving attention to, the relationships are never going to grow. They're never going to, this person has no intention of it growing. It's almost like, I'll teach you, you're busy, you're going to show me that you have a life, you're going to show me that you're not waiting for me. Well, I'm going to definitely hold back. I'm not going to make it seem like I care about you that much. I'm definitely not going to show you that I'm emotionally like insecure. Like I'm not going to show you that I need more attention from you. I'm not going to give you more either. So, but I'm going to give to all these random other people to make it look like, look how strong I am emotionally, and that I don't really care about you. And meanwhile, I feel like you're like, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. You would rather talk to random people and talk like about stupid shit or talk dirty to each other or do whatever and keep it in the fantasy realm to get your rocks off, because that's where your passion lies, because you don't have real passion for life. Like, again, I'm not saying that you don't have feelings for me, but like you're trying to like, if you're not feeding me and you're feeding other people, you're not letting this grow. And so really intimacy is when you create time with the person, like it's when you create experiences with the person, right? You take the time to create the experiences, and relationships are something that happen over time. Trust is something that happen over time. Intimacy is something that is established. This person like would rather scare you into trying to get what they want. Like, oh, like you're not going to talk to me, you're busy, you're out. Okay, well, I'm going to talk to all these other people, make it seem like I don't desire you at all. You'll come chasing me. Yeah, well, that's what you're used to, because you're talking to the people that are on Instagram or on Facebook, wherever the hell you're talking to them, and they're sitting there talking to you. So of course they would act like that, but I'm not going to act like that. And this is what this person saw, because you're like, well, you're not giving me the attention. You're giving other people the attention. You're making me feel as if I'm forgotten about, but understand that's what disassociated is that the person's checked out. You're like, you're with me, but you're not. It's like, that's true. They're physically there, but mentally and emotionally, they're not. And that's from trauma due to major trust issues. And that will make you feel completely like forgotten about. And it's a sense like if you just got tired of it, you're like, I got tired of like the abuse, of like emotional abuse. And I feel like that's energy that you kind of grew up with. That's energy that you definitely have experienced before. So you were like, I'm not going through this again. I'm not going through it, whether it was with a relationship where somebody wasn't giving to you, was talking to other people. And this is a tactic. And this tactic for like is again to control, but we always say like, why would you attract this person into your life? So we're gonna see that, but we're gonna see if they're gonna do something else. Because what I see is that you walked away because you were like, this reminds me too much of energy that I've gone through before, and I don't like it. Like it was a trigger for you. You're not giving me anything. It's like being with you, I'm more lonely than actually being alone. So, I see it as abusive, and it is abusive. It's emotional abuse. Because this person had too many unresolved issues. That's what you felt like. You're like, and I feel like this person sees that they have too many unresolved issues, that it's a long journey for their healing. That's when you walked away, that's what it was. It's that and that, yeah, like it's I would like, I have to say, it's like you were like, nope, it's like this person has too much baggage and I am breaking free. Literally, you were like, I'm not like, I don't like how this person treated me. And being that I don't like the way that this person treated me, that they acted like I wasn't important. Well, and giving time to like random people instead of me, it's like that's enough for me. I don't need to hear their story, what they went through, what their baggage was. No, but you do need to see why you attracted this person into your life. This may be a short one, so I actually may make it to the gym on time. Let's see. Why did you attract this person into your life, Scorpio? Misunderstood. I feel like, again, free spirits are always misunderstood. But understand that would kind of make you always feel like again, like maybe that you don't connect well to people, even though you do connect to well with people and people see that, maybe you just don't feel as comfortable. And these are the inner child wounds. Space. Space is actually very positive. Space is, again, when we have space, what you're seeing, like this is like an empty canvas to create the life that you want to create. I feel like, again, these are the inner child wounds, and I feel like that's actually a gift, but it was also a little bit of a curse. And the curse was the wound, I should say, not a curse, but the wound was that you were brought up by somebody that was very controlling, that didn't really understand you. And I feel like your unique process of learning, the things that you were into, your own style, they just didn't understand. And when a parent doesn't understand and they, continually misunderstand us or make us feel as if we're, misunderstood, we're obviously not growing a very secure attachment to that parent because the parent has different views of how they perceive that we should be and what, again, how we should act. That's why we're being misunderstood. So a trauma response to that, again, is that you would check out if every time you were around a parent, and parent would like make a slide remark by saying, well, why are you wearing those clothes? Or why do you want to take those classes? Or what do you think you're going to achieve by that? Again, always questioning your decisions and making it seem like they don't really understand why you do what you do, why you're into what you're into, why you tick the way you tick. Again, that makes us feel, again, uncomfortable. It makes us feel, again, like not loved, not supported. And to a child, the child detaches, they disassociate. They can't run away. They're gonna, but they're gonna be there, but they're not gonna be there. They're gonna check out. So in that checkout space, where again, I feel like you have a very strong ESP connection with this person because you learned how to survive the way that they learned how to survive. And the way that they learned how to survive was to disassociate because they too could not run away from their environment. And that's a trauma response. Again, unfortunately, when we grow up in an environment where, again, we're stepping into being the parent's role because there's no support, and then we're actually seeing our parent not be in a healthy relationship, lose a job, whatever the trauma the parent went through, now we've inherited that. As the child, we've taken on, and again, that is what brings shame. That's actually what creates the karmic pattern. The karmic pattern was created because it was created in childhood as a form of survival. However, we are no longer living from that level of perception, but every time this person gets into a relationship or gets connected to someone that they have feelings for, well, again, that those intense emotional feelings of love will trigger this person where they don't really believe that they can have love, where they get in their own way. And this is what the baggage is. And so you also felt misunderstood, but in this space, you don't need to repeat a negative behaviorism by staying attached to someone that is dysfunctional, like that's going to make you feel as if they don't really understand who you are, what you're doing, just because, again, first of all, they're not on your level of consciousness. They're coming from a lower vibe. Survival is the lowest vibe, so that's first of all. And when you have this space, you're able to create new life experiences, and those new life experiences will create new habits and new behaviorisms that allow yourself to see who you are today, to be in the moment, to be present, to be more grounded. where I feel like this person's baggage creates them to relive the same negative karmic experiences. And when they met you, unfortunately, the intense emotions triggered those patterns of self-sabotage where this person got triggered. If you were busy, if you showed that you had a life, if you showed that you didn't need them too much, if you weren't chasing after them, if you showed that your life was good, again, because of how they feel about themselves, nothing to do with you at all because of how they grew up. So where spirit thing, you can again relive the same experience, or maybe not the same experience, but an experience that's going to keep you stuck in that same consciousness that you did when growing up, being around people that didn't understand you. Now understand the people that didn't understand you, that raised you, had your best interest at hand, even if it didn't look like it. Their way was just to treat you the way that they were either treated themselves, and they did that unconsciously, or they again perceived that, being someone that was more conservative, being someone that was more, artistic, whatever it was, whatever their perception was, because of their life experiences, it just scared the crap out of me. So that's what I'm talking about. I want to just hold on a second. That's going to drive me crazy because it's not going to shut off. Of course. Of course, now that I'm finishing up. Anyway, so that's what I think. I feel like that you attracted this person and it brought you back that it would keep you, it brought back those feelings from childhood of, other people's baggage, and then people not treating you well, again, because of their own stuff, not taking the time even to get to know you because of that, of other people's drama, that there's that open space. You create a whole new life. You'll connect to new people that are going to, not have as much baggage, or if they do have the baggage, they've learned how to heal it. And so, like, I just feel like, that's why, like, the open space, like I said, is why. And then I wanted to pull one more. Let's pull one more, just to see. Okay, and to give yourself support, because anchor is that, like, you see, like, this looks like a father and son, or a father and daughter here, like you see them like father and child, and that is all about creating support, where I feel like you didn't have support. This person didn't have sufficient support. Only this person, I feel like, went through a little bit more traumatic experiences. For you, you still need to be able to connect on a place where you feel safe, where you feel happy in the connection that you're gonna be with. I feel like this person, like I said, just being with them, it wouldn't create the support that you needed, the emotional support, because they again are detached from themselves. And so we live that way, we're many times going to attract someone that's that way. If we grew up with parents that were that way, one of the parents were that way, and it was traumatizing to the other parent, we're most likely are going to again have to live that karmic lesson as well, because it affected us. And that's what I see here. Like, your person, like, if like had inherited trauma that affected them so bad that it's again that they just, until they clear that baggage, it's just not, they're not gonna, they won't be able to connect. They don't want to connect. Everybody will be a trigger, because your life isn't just supposed to be about dating one person. You have to have a full life, a rich life, and your person shouldn't be jealous Like I said, their jealousy is the fact that there's a lack that they're doing for themselves, and you can't do it for them. There's a sense that they would want you to do it for them. That's that's the problem that this person has, is that they need to create more of who they are. The baggage is not who they are. The baggage are all the wounds that need to be integrated, and once those wounds are integrated, they'll be transmuted into who this person really is. So that's why there's a problem. It's like, when you don't heal, you just accumulate more and more and more of the same type of energy, and you create facades to fix it, but none of those facades are going to last for forever. None of those masks will stay on forever. Eventually, life happens, situations happen, people come into our lives, and the mask falls off. And then we're faced with having to heal the original root cause of whatever it was that created the fact that we needed to wear a mask to begin with. And that's what I see here with this person. And that's why you're like, no. Creation. And again, no, like that's why Spirit's like, no, because this is what the universe says. I have the power to direct my life. With a constructive attitude, I create what is best for my soul. I firmly believe I can transform and improve my inner and outer worlds by turning every thought into affirmation action. I act in the image of God and bring light into my life. So I feel like the time, again, that you would have given to this person obviously would have taken away from your life, where Spirit says it shouldn't have, because this person would have been an empty well. No matter how much you gave, it would have never been enough, because again, of their own lack. So again, you use your energy for yourself, which is what you were doing, which is what triggered this person. So this person was never going to change anyway. And that, I believe that to release with love, is one of the spiritual lessons, because act in the image of God always through the lens of unconditional love. So we again and look at the wound as if again this person admires you. This person perceives that you are like the cream of the crop. They actually put you on a pedestal to the point that they think that you can fix their life, that they, but that's very codependent. And the thing is, if you don't do it, then they disassociate and that creates problems. And they need to get to the root of why they do what they do. And I feel like you saw that, and that now it's about continuing to use the space, and that space again in the imaginative mind. If you can create it, if you can imagine it, you can create it. So again, to put your energy more into like creating things that are going to bring you happiness. This was again to help you transmute your childhood wounds, and to see that not all the time, like again, if a person is detached, it's again, they weren't giving you the time and the attention, your family, maybe a parent, someone close to you, maybe an ex-lover, whoever was that created that trauma, that detached, that disassociated from you. It wasn't because they didn't have feelings. It's because they were wounded and that they couldn't. And so I feel like some experiences we go through to again allow us to see the situation from a different perception, so we can release that again parent, or that person that originally wounded us, somebody of significance, which is usually a mother or a father, someone close within your family, someone that you grew up with, again someone significant that had wounded you, again someone that emotionally should have been able to show up for you, and that's how you see it, and should have been like a more of a loving like source, but instead they acted competitive. Instead, they acted as if your energy and your success was meant to help them somehow, and that you should feel bad about your success because of where, again, this parent is. Again, and that's happens like a lot of times when we have wounded parents. Remember, there was no spiritual awareness back in the day for our parents. There was no real, anything. You just went to a psychiatrist, and guess what? If they thought that you were really messed up, they give you a lobotomy, which didn't make you better. I mean, they took it, I mean, you were now brain dead. So, you know, we're lucky today to see that there is something that we can do, that we can heal ourselves. And I feel like you're still on the journey to heal yourself, because it's not easy if you grew up in an environment that made you feel misunderstood for who you are, that you felt like you couldn't really express your true self, that you couldn't really like come out and be who you wanted to be because of other people's perceptions, beliefs, whatever. When we have to hide ourselves, we create the masks. We create illusions, and those illusions wind up blocking us off from unconditional love. We create the mask to try to get love, but understand the perception is that we couldn't have love, and that is what the law of attraction is listening to. Oh, you don't really believe you can have it. That's why you created that mask. Okay, we're not going to bring you. We're going to bring you people that feel the same way. And those people usually have bad character. Those people, live more from their reactions, live more from their trauma. So I'm going to leave that there, Scorpio, but I'm happy that in this story, you were like, no dice. Like, this is a hard no for me. The writing's on the wall. And it was like, that means you passed a karmic test and you should be proud of yourself. And you may say, well, then I'm not. Well, understand there's always a space between what is sown to what is reaped, my darlings. So it's a space. But when you go through a test and you pass it, what you're telling the universe is no, I know what I want, and it's not that. It's like, again, you're clear about your goal, and there's always this space between that time that you again put it out there into the universe to the time that it actually manifests. So keep in faith. Faith is a bridge that connects you to what is sown, to what is reaped. Remember that. I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you. Bye.